recording, by the way. Again, ha, in the year 2019, purchases totaled to 113,555. Okay, wait. Records showed that at the beginning of the year, there is a value of accounts payable at 12,555. And at the end of the year, there's a value of 25,121.
What's the beginning, sir?
Beginning of accounts payable at the year for that record is 12,555.
555.
Correct. And then the ending value is 25,121.
25,121.
121, yes.
Yung beginning, sir, 555 lang
Beginning is
pesos.
12,555. Correct. Ending is 25,121. Compute for the number of days, average number of days a payable has remained unpaid. Again, the answer will be in the number of days. Take note. Compute for the average number of days that the payable has remained unpaid. Go. My green sheets are not complete. Your answer should be the number of days. Number of days. Take note.
6.
Number of days. Number of days. That's the answer that I'm looking for.
It's a
Number of days.
What you have computed so far, Nicole, is the ratio. What you have is the ratio so far. What I'm asking is for the average number of days.
Times.
Once you now have the ratio, you use that and divide that against 365. 365 will be the dividend.
165 divided by
59. 59 days, sir.
Nicole, what's your answer?
Wait, I'll say it.
Nathan's answer is 59 days. Is that what you said, Nathan? 59 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please, sa akin, sir.
Again?
60.
60?
Mali ba?
The correct answer is 61. Nathan's answer is 59. Nicole's answer is 60. The correct answer is 61.
Ano, sir? Ganito yung answer ko.
Wait.
60.5.
60.5. Okay. Why do we not say it as 60.5, Nicole? Is there such a day as the 60 and point 60? How do I read that? 0.5.
Half a day. Half ng day.
Half of a day. That is why we round that up. But if it's 60.4, you round it down. So what is our computation there? Let's compute them again all together. So what is the average of the accounts payable? So 12,555 plus 25,121 divided by 2, you have 18,838. You use this for 113,555. So you'll end with a ratio of, what's the ratio? What's the turnover ratio?
6.03.
Okay, 6.03, correct. Now that you have 6.03, you divide that against 365. 6.03. You will yield a value of 60.53,
53.
which is equivalent to how many days?
61 days.
So Nathan, have you gotten that answer as well?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Let's have another example still for, anyway, we can do this until Thursday. By the way, on Monday, no, not on Monday. Oh yeah, business finance is on Monday, no? In terms of the ST. ST, no?
ST, yes, sir.
On Monday, the ST now includes return on equity. All.
But, sir?
The ST covers all.
So, pwede maggamit ng
Where are
paper,
they now?
sir?
I told you to make them last night. Where are they?
I'll make it pa, sir.
No, no more na. Ay, never mind. Ay, no more na.
Wala
No
na,
more. No,
sir.
no more use na.
No.
Nathan can
Ah,
use
Nicole.
one. Nicole cannot.
Ala, grabe.
That's an assignment. That was an assignment, Nicole.
Sir, tinulungan ko pa yung kapatid ko gumawa ng mga modules.
Ha?
Sir, ang hirap gumawa ng... ang hirap tumulong sa kapatid, sir.
Oh, well,
Dalawa pa yung kapatid
hindi mo na
ko.
dapat sana tinulungan, di ba?
No,
It's your
sir.
choice.
Nathan, may I see what you've made so that Nicole can also have an idea of what she will not be able to use? The other side, Nathan.
Wala, sir.
Show me. You might have placed, okay. Because you might have placed
Galit.
galit, ha? You might have placed something else and then you all that you said is, wala, sir. None, sir. Okay, another example for accounts payable turnover. Take note of the question, because if I ask for just the ratio, okay. But if I ask for the number of days that payable remains unpaid, convert that ratio to the number of days. Okay, ha? Let's assume that in the year 2018, cost of goods sold in the creation of products, everything totaled to 550,000. Okay, I hope everybody got that, 550,000. When records were opened, it revealed that the beginning balance of accounts payable is beginning 350,000. And then the ending value for accounts payable was 46,000. What is the accounts payable turnover ratio?
46,000 ending, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
What is the turnover ratio?
$2.78.
Okay, correct, Nathan. It's 2.78. Nathan, next time, you read the instructions very well. You read the complete instructions. That's what happened to you in the last ST. Nicole, have you computed for 2.78?
Wait po.
So what happened there was 350,000 plus 46,000 divided by 2. So you have 198,000. You use 198 as the divisor to 550,000. That will yield a ratio of 2.78.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
2.70.
How many days would that be equivalent? That's equivalent to how many days?
101 days.
131 days.
31 days, correct. How would you
31.
interpret that number? How would you interpret that number?
100 days that a payable remains unpaid.
Take note that number of 131 is the average number
Average
of
number.
days for
Average
a
number of days.
payable, for the payable to remain unpaid. That's an average number of days. Questions regarding accounts payable turnover. Let's go now to days receivable. How do we compute days receivable? You have accounts receivable plus the average sales per day. That is also equivalent to accounts receivable divided by revenue times 365. So you have accounts receivable divided by revenue. You get the quotient first, and then you multiply that by 365. They're the same as accounts receivable divided by average sales per day. That's just the same. Okay. Example. Here's an example. By the way, how do we interpret the days receivables? Days receivables would tell you of the number of days to collect that receivable. Again, it pertains to the number of days it would take to collect the receivable. It would take the company to collect the receivable. Okay, let's just have this as an example. Company A, take note, Company A has a total of 120,000 in their accounts receivable. Annual revenue was at 800,000 pesos.
Annual revenue 8,000 pesos.
Yes.
100. What, sir? What, sir?
Accounts receivable 120,000, annual revenue 800,000. So tell me the days receivables. So when you talk of days receivables, the answer should be in the number of days. Take note that the answer should be in the form of days, number of days. So what's your days receivables? Also known as days receivables outstanding.
Sir, pila ganun revenue, sir? On
800,000.
100,000. Yes, sir.
So what's the number of days? Nicole?
55, sir.
What was your computational value? What's the answer?
55.
But what's the original answer? It's not exactly 55. The computational answer is 54.
55.20.
Huh?
Unsa imong
54,
balito
yes.
ko dito? Cost receipt.
120,000 divided by
Then
800,000.
120? 120 lang, sir.
What did you write? Why, Nicole? What did you?
121.
Wait, where did you
54,
get,
sir. 54.75.
where did you get 131? Correct.
Sabi mo kanina, sir, 121.
Huh? What is it? But your answer is correct. 54.75, but we round that up to 55 days.
55
Nathan, have you gotten that same computation?
days.
Wala pa, sir.
Nathan,
Aslo.
120,000 divided by 800,000. So you have their accounts receivable divided by annual revenues times 365. Oh, what's the value? What's the answer?
55.
What's the answer? Look at the calculator's answer. 54.75.
75.
Correct. That's the computational value. But of course, you will not declare it as 54.75 days. You'll really indicate it as 55 days.
5 days.
Let's try another one. So a company has cash at the end of the year amounting to 120,000. Accounts receivable was at 250,000. Supplies were altogether valued at 57,000. Again, let me repeat that. Cash at the end of the year was valued at, oh my God, Nicole disappeared from the call. There, she's back. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Nicole. Nicole. It's me.
What's next? Again for the sir. That's item 2. Very good.
I'm not sure.
No, sir. Sir, ano yung given? Ano yung given?
Again, Nicole, Nathan, cash was at 120,000. Accounts receivable, 250,000. Supplies, 57,000.
Excuse me.
The accounts payable value, 312,000. Revenue was at 766,000.
766,000, sir.
Correct. 766,000. Now compute for the number of days it would take to collect the receivables. Compute for days receivables. Compute for days receivables.
Wait. Sales.
So what's your number of days? What's the days receivables value?
Who will be the next?
76 ba, sir?
Alex
Or mali?
RBJ. Alex RBJ. Alex, sulfur dioxide. Very good.
Sorry, Nicole, what's your answer?
Harvey. Sinan.
I'm not sure, sir. 76.
Nathan, what's your answer?
119 days.
119 days. 76 versus 119. Nicole, how did you arrive at 76?
Ano, sir? Pag last plus.
What did you add? Nathan, should you add anything?
Hmm.
Correct. You don't have to add anything.
Okay.
Days receivable includes only what? Accounts receivable and revenue.
Oh.
I'm giving activities that are, I'm giving items that are like this in the ST. I'll give you, be very careful with this. I'm giving you some account titles which probably have nothing to do with the computation required in that number. As said, accounts receivable and revenue are the only ones involved in the computation. So you have 250,000 divided by 766,000. You multiply that to 365, that will yield a number of 100.
I'll get the charges, huh?
Yes. 190. Nicole, have you obtained now that answer?
119, sir.
Correct. How do we again interpret 190,
Days.
Nicole?
It would take to collect the receivable
It would put the number,
numbers,
put the
sir.
answer, in the interpretation. Go.
119 days, 119 days
It takes the
that
company.
they, sir. It would take 119 days to collect the receivables.
Correct. So,
It
by
would
the way,
take
it might,
109.
that kind of style might be asked from you in the ST. Like, how do you interpret the ratio of this sort? Or how would you interpret if the number of days receivables is this? Be ready with, that's why I'm giving possible interpretations. Okay. Let's proceed now to days inventory. Days inventory would tell you of the number of days it would take to sell out or completely sell out inventory. Again, that's the number of days it would take to completely sell out inventory. And then, what's the formula? The number of days it would take to completely sell out inventory.
Once they are released this water, this is calculated as acid. We call this binary acid.
For a while.
These are binary acid. Binary because you have two elements present in the acid. You also have ternary acid, but most ternary acids are oxy acids. Oxy acid means the addition of hydrogen to oxy ion. What is an ion? An oxy ion.
Okay.
Example of an oxy ion.
For instance, you have, so the formula again is inventory divided by the average cost of goods sold. So you have inventory divided by cost of goods sold multiplied by 365. For instance, average annual inventory is 3,000.
Average annual inventory.
Inventory is 3,000. Cost of sales is 35,000. Compute for days inventory or days inventory outstanding or days inventory.
Two acid types exist, binary acid and oxy acid. You talk about binary acid, a hydrogen will be mixed with a non-metal. That's a binary acid.
Again, inventory is 3,000. Cost of sales is 35,000.
The second one is the binary asset. Hello? There are two ways to calculate.
How many days will that be?
Dalawang paraan para i-name natin yung binary asset, dalawang paraan para i-name natin yung oxy asset. In the same way that we name ferrous and ferric, it's also the same.
How many days, Nathan?
Yes, sir.
It's also the same way that we are going to name these oxy ions.
31.
31 yung sa akin, sir.
But what's the computational value?
31.28. 29.
Nicole, did you also get 31.29?
20,
For binary acids, they depend on the state
29,
of the acid.
31.
Okay.
The state of the
Which
acid
means that the number of days will be equivalent to
will treat it as
31 days.
plus the
Let's
One.
continue. What if, let's put that for company A.
gas,
Let's go to company B.
hydrogen chloride.
Company B has an annual inventory of 1,000.
As hydrogen plus chloride, just like
1,000.
Yes.
in the ionic bond.
And their
The naming of
their cost of sales is 40,000.
H2
Cost of sales 40,000.
H2S na pala, hydrogen combined with sulfur will be H2S. You will not name it as dihydrogen sulfide. This is separate in the meaning of covalent nomenclature. This is on binary acids, so this is named.
So what is the number of days?
Eliminate
9.
hydrogen.
9. But what's the computational value, Nicole?
Point 9.12.
9.12, which is equivalent to
You don't name it as dihydrogen.
9 days.
9 days, correct.
If it is aqueous class, the way in which you're going to name the acid is as follows.
Let's have company 3. And later on, we are going to compare the 3. Company 3.
Plus H,
Company 3 has an annual inventory record of 5,000.
HCl in aqueous
So that's 5,000 of.
Yes, for company 3. 5,000. And then cost of sales is 54,000.
the non-metal stem is fluor plus H. So hydro
Cost of sales.
acid.
54,000.
Way of naming HCl as an aqueous solution.
So, days inventory is
Another example. We have here HBr, which is solid. Solid is a class. So
33 point,
HBr is
33
the solid phase
80.
is
33.79.
bromide.
80.
80.
HI
Nicole, did you get the same?
8.
8. Okay. But that's equivalent to how many days?
34.
34 days. Now, let's try to
30.
compare those 3 companies. What's again the value of company A? It's 31 days.
31.
Company B, 9 days. Company C, 34 days. Which among these companies is more efficient in terms of its capacity to turn inventory into sales? Which company is it?
B.
Company B, correct. Take note, company B shows you a record of 9 days. Again, how do we interpret 9? Number 9 there represents the number of days it would take for the company to turn inventory into sales. Again, it only took company B, or it takes company B at an average, it takes company B 9 days to turn inventory into sales. Who among the 3 performed the poorest?
3. Company
You have
3.
company 3,
3.
correct. Because company 3 would take
34 days.
34 days. But look at companies B and C.
34 days.
33, 34. I think that's 33, 34.
31.
31, 34. That's also quite close. So we can say that companies A and C are not performing well as compared to company B. How do we interpret again the number of days in days inventory? The number of days it would take the company to turn inventory into sales. That's days inventory.
The number
Let's
of days.
number of days it would take the company to turn inventory into sales. Okay, let's now go to another formula which has the days payable computation, which involves accounts payable and average purchases or cost of goods sold per day. Okay. Right. How do we interpret days payables? This pertains to the average number of days to pay back its accounts payable. This pertains to the average number of days it would take a company to pay back its accounts payable. Okay. For example, accounts payable at the end of the year was valued at 800,000.
What's that, sir? Accounts receivable?
Accounts payable. Where the payable, Nathan? Accounts payable at the end of the year was valued at 800,000. And then, cost of goods sold at the end of the year was at 8,500,000.
8 million.
8,500,000. What's your days payables value? What is the average number of days it would take the company to pay back its payables?
Thirty-four.
What's the computational value, Nicole? 34?
34.35, sir.
Correct. But that's equivalent to how many days?
34 days.
34 days. Correct. Nathan, I hope you got the same computation. Nathan, have you gotten the same computation?
34 days, sir.
But what's the computational value that you got using the calculator?
34.35.
34.35, correct. Okay. Let's assume that the company has, by the way, how do we interpret again 35?
It would take 34 days to pay back
Average,
its
take note.
average.
Yeah.
Average number. Oh,
Average
The
number of
average.
days.
what, sir?
The num
Interpretation. Be careful when you interpret. It would take an average
It
of
would
how many
take
days?
average
You'll
of
take an average of 34
it
days
would take
to
average of 34 days to pay back its accounts payable.
Correct. It would take an average of 34 days for the company to pay back its payables. For a while. Okay, we proceed. We go now to current ratio. Simple formula for current ratio. Current assets divided by current liabilities. for you to know what your current assets are and for you to know what your current liabilities are, remember the lesson that we had in fundamentals of EBM last week?
Mm.
Nita just said, That lesson, that copy of the module has a list of possible current assets and current liabilities. It is in this type of formula or a problem where you'll find several account titles enumerated. The challenge is to determine which among them is current and which one is non-current. As current ratio only involves current assets over current liabilities. What does current ratio mean? Wait, let me read. Current ratio tells you that for every single peso value of a liability, there is a particular amount of assets that can be used to settle it. Current assets that can be used to settle it. Yan ha.
But sir, tell every single peso value of
single
it.
peso value of liability, current liability, for every single peso value of a current liability, there is a particular amount in assets, current assets that you can use to settle that current liability. Let's have a computational example.
Hypochlorite, because os was I before, right?
Cash.
Hypochlorous is CNO.
Cash. Wait, Nicole. Yes, Nicole.
Making it as an asset makes it a
To
participant.
settle, what's your amount of asset to settle?
There's an amount in current asset to settle
Now let's go to
that current liability.
PO4 is phosphate. So in
Okay.
number 2,
Here's the sample problem.
so this is
At the end of the year,
acid.
the business holds the following records.
Sulfurous acid is not sulfurous, but
15 million for cash.
not phosphate, but phosphoric acid. Please put that in.
Marketable securities, 20 million.
Carbonic acid to begin with was carbonate. And if you look at the periodic table,
Inventory, 25 million.
CO3. So therefore, carbonic acid is H2.
Short-term debt, 15 million.
Now see the difference, class?
15.
Yes.
The molecules.
15 million, sir?
Yes, yes. 15, 15.
The substrate of
Short-term
hydrogen.
debt.
Then accounts payable, 15 million as well.
The substrate of hydrogen is nitrous acid and hypochlorous acid to be 1. Whereas in phosphoric acid is 3.
So what is the current ratio?
What do you think so the reason behind this? R. Very good. So before it was like that, thank you, Al. When hydrogen plus 1 will participate with carbonate, which is minus 2, in the resulting mixture or in the resulting compound, the covalency or the ionization will crisscross, which will eventually become their substrate. If in case hydrogen is plus 2, so we put a parenthesis to carbonate. But since this is not plus 2, hydrogen is always plus 1, so the main concern here focuses on hydrogen substrate and not with the oxygen.
0.8,
Okay,
sir.
let's try some
Huh?
examples.
2.
Chloric acid.
0.
How did you get 0.8, Nicole? The
2,
correct
sir.
answer
Current
is
as
2.
Rafael,
2,
Natalia,
sir.
you are ready, please.
2.
Ano yun,
60
sir?
million divided by 30 million. So what did you do, Nathan?
You add all the current assets. Then after that, you are all add all the current liabilities also, and then the sum of the current assets divided by the sum of the current liabilities.
Correct. That will yield you a value of 2. Nicole, have you gotten that value already?
Not yet pa, sir.
Go, 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 go. Nathan, how do we interpret that number 2?
Mm.
How do we interpret it? The number 2 there, Nathan, tells you that for every current liability, which is equivalent to 1 peso, you have at least 2 pesos worth of current assets ready to settle it. So 2:1 is the ratio, Nathan. 2:1. Meaning the company can the company really settle its current liabilities? It can. Okay. Out of the 2, this is for liability for current assets. This is for liabilities. If we use this for liabilities, we are still left with this amount.
One.
There is still a remaining amount that the company can enjoy from current assets. So it's a good indicator that the company can really respond to its current liabilities. It can pay its current liabilities using its current assets. It can settle its current liabilities using the current assets. Nicole, have you gotten the value already?
Hindi pa, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like this, Nicole. 15 million plus 20 million plus 25 million.
Hmm. 15 million? 1, 2, 3.
15 plus 20 plus 25 million.
60.
60, okay. 60 would be your current assets.
Oh,
Let's go to current liabilities, Nicole. You add short-term
30.
debt. You add
30
short-term debt and
million,
accounts
sir.
payable, 30 million. So 60 million divided by 30 million. 2.
1, 2, 3. 2.
2,
Oh my
okay.
God.
Diba? Very easy.
Napakaraming zeros, sir.
Wait, when I gave you 15, you could have just simply done this, 15 plus 25 plus 20. 60.
Nakakalito kaya, sir. 1, 2, 3. 1,
Wait,
2, 3.
when I told you that it's at 15 million exactly, 20 million exactly, you don't have to add the zeros na.
Nag-add ako, sir.
Because, wow, that's quite... Wait, let's have another problem. Let's have another situation. Okay. Compute for current ratio, and then you tell me later on if the company is performing well to be able to pay 1 peso of its liabilities, current liabilities. Huh? Okay. Cash at the end of the year reveals 750,000.
750,000.
Yes. Accounts receivable was valued at 315,000. So Nicole, what's the value for cash?
750.
Nathan, what's the value for accounts receivable?
Ano, sir?
315,000.
315. Inventory was valued at 550,000.
What, sir?
Inventory was at 550.
100?
5 550,000.
One.
Get back to you, Laila. Alex, let's try Alex. Maybe you know. Let's try.
Equipment. Equipment at the end of the year was valued at 125,000.
Now, do not send it to the hydro because this is oxyion, which means this is the binary compound. So this is the same with just A, and just B, and then the example.
Land at the end of the year was valued at
So cubic
1,500,000.
oxy acids. So the last word is acid. Thank you, Alex. Almost there, almost there. Asia.
What, sir?
So
Land at the end of the year was valued at 1,500,000.
they're both the same. This one in the liquid state will only true to binary acids. Follow? Binary acids contains two elements in the acid molecule.
Short-term debt.
I think Harvey can answer me. Harvey?
Short-term debt
Letter J, Harvey.
was valued at 314,000.
Very good. Chlorous acid is correct. Good job, Harvey. Let's proceed.
Accounts payable was valued at 515,000.
515, sir.
Yes, 515,000.
I hope I can still talk to the others, but I cannot get an answer.
Bonds payable was valued at 1,100,000.
Amar,
1 million.
yes, Amar. Yes, Amar.
Again, short-term debt is 314,000. Accounts payable is at 515,000. Bonds payable is at 1,100,000. Compute for current ratio.
1,100,000, sir.
Yes, that's for bonds payable. Now compute for current ratio.
Thank you.
These are just simple tips. You can read it in your vacant hours. We also have here some molecules that have to be present in higher concentration. I cannot get to in your senior high, but these are for the overview. Yes, Ben?
What's the answer?
1 million. What's the answer?
What's the answer? You tell me the answer. Go, go, go. What's the answer? Go. Kidding.
And you calculate already.
Nathan, what's wrong with you? Right?
So looking at your module class, I mixed up the problems. In activity 1, there's an integration of an acid to the binary and then to the oxyacids and also to the covalent nomenclature. In activity 2, it's also a mixed up of an acid to a covalent nomenclature.
Ay,
Anyways, Ben, I will send this as well in the photo so you can
Nicole, what's your answer? I think you've already computed for something. What's your answer, Nicole?
catch up with
Two, sir.
Uh,
to the photo page so you can
1.95.
Nathan, what's your answer? Let's try to compare whose answer is correct. Nicole, your answer is again 1 point.
the review of
1.95 po.
Okay. Nathan, what's your answer?
Or 2.
This
What's
is
your
a
answer, Nathan? Nathan, make it quick, Nathan. There's already a monster behind you, Nathan. You make it quick. Go, compute, compute.
mm, one,
Your answer is 2 point.
ay, 1.
Okay.
1.68. Wrong ko, sir.
Again.
1.68.
1.68. Yours, Nicole, is 1.95 and Nathan's answer is 1.68. Nicole, how did you arrive at 1.95?
Correct ko eh.
Actually, Nicole, your answer is correct.
Oh, no.
Nathan, sorry, Nathan. Nathan felt that. Correct. The correct answer is 1.95. Wait, when I said that to Nicole, I didn't also say that Nathan's answer was correct right away, di ba?
Wait.
Nicole, what did you add for current assets?
Cash, accounts receivable, and inventory,
Inventory,
sir.
correct. For current liabilities, Nicole, what did you add?
Short term and accounts payable po.
Correct. Only them. You will not include equipment. You will not include land. You will not include bonds payable because the three of them are non-current. Current ratio involves only current assets and current liabilities. So, by the way, it's already 3:31. We shall continue this by Thursday, starting with quick current ratio.
Cool.
Okay.